We may have to wait 3 years for the next Star Wars movie, but at least we know who's making the next Star Wars movie. And get your coats, everybody, because winter is coming to a galaxy far, far away. The Game of Thrones creators are making the next Star Wars movie, the first Star Wars movie in the new era of Star Wars films after the Skywalker saga, and we're here to talk about it and more. Welcome, everybody. This is the Resistance Broadcast. I'm John Hoey. Thanks so much for joining us today. Whether you're listening on iTunes, SoundCloud, Spotify, or watching us on YouTube, how you doing? Thanks so much for being a part of the Resistance. If you're new to the show, welcome to the Resistance. The base is open, and we're here to have a good time. So it's Monday, so this is our new show. You may be listening to this Tuesday, Wednesday, whatever, but for us, it's Monday, and that means we're a few days away from Make Solo 2 Happen Day, and the crew that always brings that hashtag and this movement together with me are James and Lacey. Guys, welcome back. How was your weekend? Are you excited about the future of Star Wars, and are you excited about Make Solo 2 Happen Day?
Yeah, definitely excited about Make Solo 2 Happen Day. I can't wait for everybody to retweet and hashtag and put up those pictures, and I just want to see the love. Especially after all of this. I don't watch Game of Thrones, guys.
Neither do I.
So I'm kind of just picking up the pieces a little bit, what's going on out there? And it's just, I don't know. Now I know what it feels like to be someone who doesn't watch Star Wars and be like, why are you guys arguing over this movie?
That's fair. I feel that way about some franchises. Lacey, what's your deal?
Well, I'm back. I know I said I quit, but I didn't.
Yeah.
I was joking. Although if you call me by a weird name, we're going to have problems.
We will not do that, Stacy. Do not worry. That is not going to happen.
You're the worst. You're the absolute worst. Yeah, I'm excited.
So we call that a cliffhanger. Thursday, everyone's like, oh my God, did she really leave? Oh my
I
God,
know.
what am I
And
going to do with my
then our
life?
subscribers drop because everyone's
Actually,
like, well,
we went up.
Oh, yeah.
We went up.
I love the Cheers theme.
I think that was just coincidental. But guys, we have a lot to talk about, including stuff about John Williams. He's already, he's 85, but he's already cracking on the soundtrack for episode 9. So I'm pumped about that type of stuff. And we have a couple polls to get through, and of course your questions later. So let's fire this thing up right now by getting into the poll results. All right, so we asked you guys, after episode 9, there will be a 3-year wait for the next Star Wars movie. Are you cool with a 3-year wait? So a pretty simple poll, pretty straightforward, not leaning one way or trying to steer people or anything like that. So we give you guys a couple of choices. First being yes, a break would be good, and no, I wish it was shorter. So it looks like 2/3 almost said they're cool with it. So 61% of you said yes, let's do that 3-year break, recharge the batteries, get back into films in a few years here. And then 39% said no, wish it was shorter. I think that lines up more with James's line of thinking, wishing he had more movies each year. So guys, were you surprised? I kind of think I have an idea how you guys voted, but we'll see right now. James, start off with you. What's your deal with the results on this? How'd you feel? And
Why don't you guess first? Guess what you think.
I think James said no. He definitely wants a movie every year. He wishes it was shorter. Mm-hmm. I think you said yes, because I think you're ready to hit reset post Skywalkers and kind of nestle into the streaming service a bit and live there for a little while.
Okay.
Yeah. I was going to ask what Lacey voted for right away, but you're right, John. I definitely did vote no. I'm actually kind of surprised that the answer was, or that people voted 61% yes, a break. That's so long, guys. I know we're going to get Mandalorian and other stuff like that, but think about how everybody was saying oh, it just felt so empty. It was December, a year and a half. It's double that. That's a long time.
It's back to the more of the traditional thing that Star Wars used to have the 3-year wait. So maybe people are like, all right, maybe let's get back to that.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. That it just seems I don't know. And then you get one and it's another 2 years until the next. So basically it's going to be another 5 years before we get 2 movies.
Yeah, so Lacey, was I right? Did you vote yes? Are you cool with the break?
No, I wish it was shorter. I would take a new Star Wars movie every month if they gave it to me.
That's what I'm saying.
Every month.
I'm definitely the one a year is great.
But I'm
Han
saying
Solo
like
and the Wasp, that kind of thing.
I would watch.
Yes.
I love going to the movies. I thoroughly enjoy going to the movies. I like the experience.
See,
so
that's I got to be honest. I hate going to the movies. And honestly, the only reason why is everybody throws their etiquette out the window.
they really do. I mean, people are terrible, but I like going by myself, like when no one's there. To be fair, like Tuesdays or Wednesdays or.
That's fair. The only movie. Go ahead, James. Sorry.
I was going to say, I always tell people that it's the exact opposite for me. I would absolutely rather go opening weekend because everybody's in there, everybody's having a good time, and everybody's on the edge of their seat because this is the first time they've seen the movie. Mm-hmm. You go on a Tuesday, that's when you get people who like don't care. They're on their phone, they're talking, they saw it, they're on their third Avengers run and
their third watch.
I
guess
they
that's
just
true.
They're talking through it and stuff.
Yeah, if I'm going on opening night, the later crowds are always better because they're generally more adults, so they know etiquette. I find that oftentimes the things that annoy me the most are kids, like people's kids that don't know how to handle their children.
That's why you wouldn't want to go like in a matinee because it's cheaper for families, and there's probably going to be less people there. So if there is a disruption, then
teens are bad too,
especially when they're in big groups and they're trying to like make each other laugh and that sort of thing. And we're probably all guilty of that too. But like the only movies I will go to see opening weekend are Star Wars movies because I just I wanted to not be spoiled and that sort of thing. Other movies like even Avengers I waited just because I don't like hearing people chew. I don't like hearing people fuss around. I don't like hearing people talk. And they tell you right at the beginning of the movie there's a couple of rules. Don't talk, turn your phone off or hide it. What do people do? Both of those things, the opposite. They talk, they take their phone out, and it drives me nuts. And I get easily irritated. I am an easily irritated person when people don't follow simple rules. I'll be sitting there in the theater like this. Just the person next to me, I'll be like this. Just like waiting for them to make me mad. It's like I want to be annoyed because I just want to like justify my anger.
You could just tell them to put their phone away.
Yeah, I don't like confrontation either, though. Unless
I'm the person that will tell them to
notice
put their phone
that
away.
stuff either.
Oh, I notice it in 2 seconds.
Yeah,
I know. Everybody always says that. Like when I go with my wife, she always notices. She's like, "See, it happened again," and I'm like, if I were here alone, I wouldn't have even thought that person was on their phone or that they were whispering to their friend or something. But like you making note of it now, I'm like, well, yeah, I hear it now.
I'm the person that if the kid's like, is he dead? Is Tony Stark dead? And I'll turn around and be like, yup, he's dead. Stop talking. Yeah. I'm that person.
I had one guy narrating Halloween, the new Halloween for me with his kids. He's like, oh, he's going to go around the back to the garage. He's going to get the chainsaw or whatever. I'm like, shut up. Are you serious?
He's got the script on his lap. He's just running through.
Oh my God. It's like so annoying. Oh man. But anyway, let us know if you guys get annoyed at movie theaters, not if you delay going
like
and what
to the
you
movies,
think.
Though. I like popcorn. Yeah.
I want to hear what our audience thinks. If you guys get annoyed at the theater or not. I get a little grumpy sometimes, I'm not going to lie. But we do have a best comment on this poll that more people than not like the idea of a break for Star Wars. So it was Joshua S. Witsaman, and he's at Peculiar Wits.
Ooh, I like that.
So I guess a play on his last name there, and maybe he's a witty guy. We'll see what his comment is, see if he's witty or not. He said, unlike Marvel and other franchises, Star Wars is all original. There aren't 70 years of comics to cherry pick here. Good storytelling should be thought out and well constructed. When these things are rushed, I worry. We'll all be dead before they stop making Star Wars, so what's the hurry? Oh, man. You should change your handle to Peculiar Morbid Guy. That's what you should change your handle to. That's sad.
Do you notice that he said, when these things are rushed, I worry. We'll all be dead before they stop making, so what's the hurry?
Oh, he rhymed.
Oh. I don't know if he did that on purpose, but...
Peculiar Rhymes. At Peculiar Rhymes. Joshua S. Witsaman. Maybe he's Walt Witsaman.
There's a limit on this, though, right? You can't make a movie every 10 years. What's the hurry?
Right.
Yeah.
Anyway, don't we have a second poll?
Yeah, we better move along and scurry. Okay. Our second poll this week, we posted to Star Wars Newsnet, and a lot of people just latched onto this one because it's a hot topic that we're going to get into in the Resistance Report. But we said Disney CEO Bob Iger confirmed that the next Star Wars movie set for release in 2022 will come from Game of Thrones series creators David Benioff and D.B. Weiss. While official details about their movies have yet to be revealed, are you pleased with the announcement? And the results so far are 27% are not sure yet. Maybe we need some more details about what the story is, when it's taking place, that sort of thing. Who's directing? Because they're not going to be directing it. 16%, only 16% said no, not happy about it. And the whopping winning vote, very positive here. 57% said yes, they are happy about it. So you got a 40-point swing there between yes and no. I was shocked about that. I thought there'd be a lot more no's because you hear a lot more of the toxicity and the change.org petitions and all the nonsense because people are angry about one episode of Game of Thrones. So I thought that was going to snowball into the poll, but it didn't. And to me, I find that interesting because it almost proves that the vocal antagonists are louder, but maybe not as great in numbers. What do you guys think about the results here?
I undecided, not sure. I mean, like, again, I don't know much about these guys other than they had a very successful series until the very end. So,
depending on who you ask, because
I know this question last week, I would have said, yeah, sure. I mean, I don't see any problem with it. And then all of a sudden this week, there's this huge like backlash, and I'm like, well, this goes back to that whole like Rian Johnson thing, and it scares me a little bit. Like I don't want that to be the case. I want to get someone that is going to be able to land the ship. I guess I don't know. It kind of worries me a little bit. So I guess I'm undecided, not sure right now. But
all right, Lacey.
I think they have a very successful show, and regardless if you liked 3 episodes or not, you can't discredit them for 8 seasons of good television that everybody's been talking about for 8 years or so, however many years.
Yeah.
I mean, my coworkers, the 4 of them were talking about it, and 2 of them loved it and 2 of them didn't. So I think it's just one of those things that if it's great television, it's going to cause people to either like it or not like it. And I like that they're challenging things and making difficult decisions about characters that people might not like, because then it's not predictable.
Right.
So they wouldn't choose them if they weren't a good choice. That's all I'm saying. Have a little trust that good choices are being made.
I bet that.
So I'm going to save my my thoughts for the Resistance Report when we really dig into the meat of this thing. So I just thought that poll was interesting. We posted it Wednesday, and after about 20 minutes, there were like 700 votes already. It just took off. People are really passionate about one way or the other getting their vote in there. So I like that anyway. The passion's cool. But speaking of passion, we are a passion podcast, and we like to talk about the news on Mondays. So the Resistance Report, it is time to fire it up. And the guy who takes us through those stories, his name is James Arthur Bainey. James, what's up, man?
It's the Resistance.
This week on the Resistance Report, we got, well, gosh, John, you basically just already broke it down in that second poll. CEO Bob Iger confirmed that the next Star Wars movies set to release in 2022 will come from the Game of Thrones series creator David Benioff and D.B. Weiss. So this was all said in a question and answer that they did over the internet. Everybody could listen to it if you guys want to check it out. They talked everything from parks. They talked everything with movies and merchandising. They talked direct to consumer, Disney Plus, all of that stuff. It was just kind of a wide, broad thing. And somewhere near the end, they kind of talked a little bit about the Star Wars franchise and the future of them. And, we're really happy with all this stuff. So we signed a deal with these guys, and they're going to be the people that take on the next Star Wars movies. And we're happy about the gap, the 3-year gap. So Lacey, I'm going to start this one off with you because I don't even know where to begin with this story, because what timing, right? What timing on this story? What do you think?
Yeah, it's really weird. So again, I've never watched Game of Thrones. I know a lot of what happens from people telling me things, but I've never watched it. I'm sorry, I have no want to watch it. Anyway, that being said,
is Jon Snow still dead?
No, he's alive. So yeah, a lot of people watch this show. A lot of people are angry about the way certain characters have been handled. But I think this isn't necessarily about Game of Thrones, and it's more about fan entitlement that's become a bigger issue on the internet and in fandom in general, that people assume characters should go a certain way because they have such ownership or connection with these characters. But at the end of the day, none of us own these characters. None of us own these stories. So it's not our place to decide what happens. If they kill everybody off, that's their choice, whether you like it or not. And it drives me nuts seeing people being like, well, they shouldn't have done this to this character. It makes no sense. Well, no, it does, because they're the ones that are producing this show. You might not like it, but such is life. I don't know what else to say. Like, it boggles my mind that people are so angry about this over a TV show, because my response would be, if you don't like it, then just don't watch it.
Yeah, that's fair.
And I don't want that to be dismissive to people's feelings, because I understand people like really care about these things, but I don't know. When I don't like a show or a show takes a weird turn, I just stop watching it.
So, John, you do watch this show. This show did take a direct turn, and are you going to stop watching it?
Yeah, I mean, I figure there's one episode to go, and I'm done. Like 8 years, that's enough. I don't need to see how this thing ends. No,
that's a long time if you think about it.
Yeah, if you look at Macy Williams, who plays Arya, she's like kind of a badass on the show now. She was a little kid when that show started, and she grew up playing this character, and seeing her character develop. I mean, that's a part of this thing too. Seeing her character develop and maturate, and what she's become, and is a big part of the storytelling. Now, that takes me to my point though, because the detractors are like, well, no, the George R.R. Martin wrote the books, and that's why these guys made a good show for the first 5 years. And it's like, well, do you know what it takes to create a television series? Do you know what it takes to sell a company to buy your idea to make this happen, to transform it from a book onto a screen? We've seen so many movies made from books that are utter garbage, like awful. And they took this guy's books, who was relatively unknown as far as I understand it until this show came out. Because his books came out, I don't know how long ago, and I'd never heard of him before. So maybe that's me. And they made one of the greatest, most successful TV series of all time. Now, that aside, people are like, well, the last couple seasons weren't that good because they took over, so this is all they're writing. No, it's not. Because they took this guy's characters and had to continue his story. So that's like, writing a book or writing a movie script and someone saying like, well, I don't know how to finish this thing, so you wrap it up. That's not them creating their characters or their story. So we don't know what they're going to create for Star Wars. They're getting to write their own story. We do know that they're excellent producers, which is what they're doing for these movies for Star Wars. And we do know that they're very successful in making a great product that changed television. So the fact that people are upset right now that these guys are brought in makes me wonder, what if they brought in like a writer for an awful television show or something? So I think people need to I just say dial it back a little bit, because you really don't know what's going on. Like Lacey said, you may be upset how something happened with a character, but I watched this whole show, and I honestly saw signs of certain turns for like Daenerys and characters like that. And people have pointed out facts like, look at season 1, look at season 2, look at season 3. So it's how you interpret the material, it's how you look at it, and it may be how your preconceived notions on what you wanted to happen. Did you want that person to be your hero and they end up being a villain? That's life. Life's tough. Life stinks. And sometimes, guess what? Art does too. So I feel like I'm going on a rant here.
It's interesting this episode's going to come out the day after the final episode.
Right.
Yeah, it's interesting to me because I feel like this reaction to Emilia Clarke's character specifically, that's the biggest thing that I saw on the internet, is people are angry about the way her character was handled.
Yep.
Sounds very similar to me on the way that Luke Skywalker was handled.
Yes.
Because people went into the movie thinking Luke Skywalker was going to show up and like beat everybody up and like pull lightning from the sky or whatever garbage certain YouTubers are saying. And if people went into Game of Thrones thinking the same thing for season 8, again, I don't watch the show, but like thinking that she was going to rule everything. Like, what?
Well,
that's your idea.
Yeah, they saw her as that she was going to be a good ruler, that she was going to take down Cersei, who was controlling King's Landing, which is where the throne is, and that sort of thing. They thought she was going to come in.
Game of Thrones talk with John, James, and Lucy.
Yeah, sorry, I'll try to get through this as quick as I can.
Well, that's why I tried to parallel it with Luke Skywalker. I'm like, it's a very specific audience that's like, wait, this is my character. I love this character. This is my favorite character.
Right. So they didn't expect her to take a turn and start this mass genocide with these dragons and tear up the city and burn up the city, and that people got really mad about that. But again, like I said, people pointed out what is it called? Foreshadowing and stuff from earlier seasons, and character choices she made, and people pulling her back from doing certain things. That to me, this all made sense. So I understand why some people are upset about it and some people aren't. But that aside, we'd have no idea what these guys are creating for this series of films. They're writing original from scratch. They're not taking over from someone's book, so we can't judge it there. They are producing, and we do know, and no one could argue this, they produced the hell out of that show. And it's probably a big reason why some of these Star Wars shows are existing now on Disney Plus, because this was a big, giant budget series.
Right. The Mandalorian's been compared to Game of Thrones like nonstop of the budget and the scope and everything.
If they don't pull that off, maybe we don't get a Mandalorian. Maybe we don't get a Cassian Andor. Maybe we don't get a Kenobi series or Solo series or whatever's coming down the line. So I just think people need to dial it back and relax a little bit. There's been so much hostility and toxicity in the Star Wars fandom. These movies aren't coming out for 3 years. We don't know anything about them yet. Let's not light fires just to light fires. Like, let's all try to, preserve this fandom and preserve some positivity, the positivity that we felt coming out of Star Wars Celebration. For love of Pete, come on.
And not even that, like, you can't take away, regardless of how you think they handled certain characters, you can't take away the impact they've had on pop culture and the successes they've had with this show.
Yeah.
Now, I don't watch it, but it doesn't mean I don't know about it and know everything about it and how everybody loves it. That doesn't change that. And the amount of money they've made off this show. You can't look at this and say, oh, they're failures. What? No, they're not. Just because you didn't like one thing. And not to mention, there's plenty of directors and writers and authors and everything else that there are certain projects of them that you don't like, but then you love other projects. So you can't gauge this one thing on their legacy of filmmakers and what they're going to do next.
Yeah, I would be curious, and you guys can put this in the comments if you want, wherever you are. Don't bash Benioff and Weiss when doing this, but if not them, then who would you pick as someone to lead this ship? Because they're probably, I could hear someone making a good argument against, I was down with what they were doing. Then I'm worried now because I really didn't like the direction that they took towards the end. So maybe the first and second Star Wars movies will be great, but that third one I fear is going to be really bad. If it were up to me now, I would probably put blank in charge of a new series of movies. I'd like to hear a couple other options out there just for funsies, even though we know nothing's going to change. Like these guys are the people, and no matter the backlash here, I mean, I don't know. Then again, Colin Trevorrow had backlash against his movie and got removed from the project. Rian Johnson had backlash against his movie.
I think Bob stands behind them too much.
Might still be removed from the project. We don't know.
Right.
I don't think this is the case, but I'm just saying, I just would kind of like to hear some other options, because right now I'm not a big TV guy.
Look at how many hours of episodes they put together for this show. Like, it's...
Yeah, that's weird to me too. Like, isn't this just going to be like a walk in the park?
That's what I'm saying. Like 80
hours.
Like,
what do I got to put together 6 episodes?
Like 80 hours of Game of Thrones, and the audience loved 97% of it. Like, they have to put 6 hours of movies together. Like, I think they're going to pull that off, or however many movies it is. And the one other thing I need to address here, and I feel like I'm getting kind of fired up here, I do understand people who are
Game of Thrones pun.
Who are I didn't even realize. Dragonfire.
Season 8, episode 5 pun.
Yeah. I didn't, I understand that people may have issues or concerns, and then, that's fine. I have concerns about some stuff with Star Wars too, but the other part of this argument that I'm seeing is, this 2022 movie should have been Ryan. I wish it was Rian Johnson's movies. And it's like, okay, just because these guys are making these movies doesn't mean Ryan's not making his movies. These were both separate announcements that run parallel to each other. It's not like he was announced, then they were announced, and they knocked him off the bridge. Like, just because they're making their movies doesn't mean no effect on his project. So I don't buy that. And if you wanted his before them, then, whatever. But it's like, don't try to use that narrative, because then you have people saying, I hate these guys, and I love Ryan. You are becoming what you hated when people hated on Rian Johnson. Like, don't become like Obi-Wan said, you were meant to destroy the Sith, not join them. Don't join the trolls and the hate, because you may be concerned about what these guys are doing. Just try to take a step back and let's all try to gather some information and find out what they're going to be doing. And then when you find out who's in the movie, who's directing the movie, what they're about, and you still hate it, then you hate it. But until then, let's try to take it easy a little bit.
Well, we can take it easy talking about John Williams.
Oh, Johnny, babe.
You want to move over to this next story, which is John Williams putting together his version, not his version, I shouldn't say that, but he's doing the score for Rise of Skywalker, and he has seen a version of the film. He's seen probably the rough cut, and he had to say that he actually really liked it. He's enjoying what he's seeing, and he's actually already done 25 minutes of the movie just within the month. So this is a fun story just because everybody loves John Williams, right? Yep. Beginning to end, 1 through 9. The guy's the greatest, and he's really done no wrong to Star Wars ever.
Right.
So I don't know, John, do you have any thoughts on, you've been talking for like 20 minutes. Maybe you need to get a drink of water. Lacey, do you, do you have any thoughts on John Williams wrapping this thing up?
Yeah, John was definitely fired up about that last segment. Part.
I care so much
he was
about
acting like a dragon.
I know.
I hope I didn't drag on my thoughts.
You're the worst.
I know Len liked that one.
Yeah.
I'm super excited. I love John Williams. I think his music has shaped these movies and made them what they are and changed Star Wars. I don't think it would have been the same without his music. He's changed my life, at least. I think it's really cool that he's seen a very early cut of the movie. If he liked it, I think he's supposed to say he likes it, but I have a feeling he would be honest if he didn't. Right?
Or he wouldn't say anything.
No.
Or he wouldn't say anything, maybe. But
he would not be like, I don't much care for it, but whatever.
I'm here. I got a paycheck. That's so exciting. That means that things are getting done. That's exciting. I don't know what else to say except I hope there's a Ben theme.
I'm just kind of thinking he's the only person who has to watch these movies without music.
Imagine he's like, these are so much better without my music.
So John Williams is watching someone like Rey look out into the horizon, and it's just like,
I like how you guys are working together.
So I don't know. I do.
I'll be the TIE fighter.
Wait, do that again. Do that TIE fighter again. No, because you did a drive-by on your microphone. I thought it was perfect.
Oh, really?
Yeah, do it.
Go back and listen to it. 15 seconds, skip.
Okay. Party pooper. No, I liked what he had to say. I think it's cool that he I don't know what it takes to compose a full score for an orchestra, but knocking out 25 minutes worth of a score in under a month sounds like pretty good to me, especially for an 85-year-old. But I do like what he had to say about how he's more efficient now and he spends less time working because he kind of knows himself better and he knows how to work and he knows, what works and what doesn't at this point. And he's so for a guy who won 5 Oscars and was nominated for 5 billion of them, and he's made every great score you hear is John Williams. I was watching Catch Me If You Can. I'm like, oh, this movie's good. Who did this score? And I'm like, John Williams did that too? I'm like, This is unbelievable. So, but he's so humble.
He does everything.
He's so damn humble. He's like, I'm probably not as good as I used to be 30 years ago because I just don't have the physical energy anymore. But I think I'm a little smarter than I was. So if I won 5 Oscars, I don't know if I'd be able to be that just like self-deprecating and humble. And he comes across, as I put in the article, he comes across so genuine with it because he's always been that way. So I just like his whole personality and how he like talks to people, and he's like, JJ baby, hey JJ baby, we're gonna do this, we're gonna knock it out. All right, let's do it, let's get it going. This man is untouchable in Star Wars. You could hate, people got mad at George Lucas, people got mad at Kathleen Kennedy, JJ Abrams, everybody. No one gets mad at John Williams ever. So
I was actually thinking that when I was reading this article, because I was like, I always have that argument of like people that are like, I hated The Last Jedi. And it's like, you hated everything? I hated everything. And I'm like, so you hated John Williams? They're like, well, John.
Yeah.
You know? It's like, it's always this like, I mean, you know what I mean? Like, did you hate the creatures? Did you hate the special effects? Like, there's always something that's got to be there that you're like, man, if everything else was the same, like they didn't have this character and they resolved that and they answered this and there was a lightsaber fight, like those things, they still would have had the planet Crate, the character Poe Dameron, you know what I mean? Like, so I don't know.
The closest you get to getting like troll comments on like my article or on the tweets and stuff is, oh, I feel bad. This guy still has to make music for these crap movies. Like that's so they still honor him while crapping on the movie. That's what they do. Like, oh, I can't believe he probably hates it. Like, no, he doesn't. He even said he's having more fun now than he ever did because his personal life's better. Like when he was making the original trilogy, his wife died. She had like a brain hemorrhage and died suddenly. So he went through like some dark times during those movies. And he said now, like he's been married to his second wife for such a long time and he's very happy. He said he's having more fun now than ever. So even though it's a little sad that he's leaving, it's happy to know that he's having the best time he's had doing it. So I think that's pretty cool. But he's going to be missed. But I kind of agree with what James has said on the podcast previously that they're going to be able to move on without him. And they've kind of proven that. Like Michael Giacchino did a great job rushing a score out for Rogue One that it gets better every time I listen to it. So I think Star Wars will be good. John Powell
did the solo score, but John wrote the theme.
Yeah.
Which is kind of interesting as well. You know what I mean? And we got him for Galaxy's Edge as well. I'm kind of uncertain if this will be his last attempt ever at Star Wars music, but it probably is last full-fledged film score, I would say.
He said it's definitely his last like full-on score. But he'll always be in the movies unless they say, well, those themes have to go away now because this new trilogy is about something completely different. I don't know. Like, are they going to do an opening crawl for these movies? Are we going to hear the main Star Wars theme? We're not sure. We don't know yet.
All right. Anything else you want to add to Don Williams before we head over to the Scoundrels rundown?
He's the best.
He's the goat.
He is the best. He's the goat.
He is the goat.
So since only one can be the greatest of all time, I guess Obi-Wan is not the goat anymore. According to these
that's
guys.
a different goat. That's a different goat.
It's a different goat. All right, we're sending it over to the Scoundrels rundown. John, Hoey, take it away, please.
All right, James Baney. We have some stuff to talk about here. And we're going to talk about it right now.
Yep.
In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Punch it! Nice. I like giving the audience a knuckle sandwich. We're always like, knuckles right in your face. if you're watching on YouTube. At home, they're like, oh, they punch their fists? That's interesting. Come watch us on YouTube. You'll find out. All right. Here we go, guys. Thursday. A little thing we're going to call Make Solo 2 Happen Day. It is this Thursday, May 23rd. If you're on Twitter, if you're on Facebook, if you're on Instagram, if you want to send smoke signals to the sky, if you want to write a letter to somebody, whatever you do, send it out using hashtag Make Solo 2 Happen. Basically, what we're doing here is we loved Solo. We would love to see a follow-up to Solo, because Han and Chewie went off to go see Jabba. Kira, there's James holding up right now, Make Solo 2 happen. Kira went to go see Maul. Enfys Nest went to go start the rebellion against the Empire. All these open-ended things ready for these characters to be taken on other journeys. It is waiting to be told, whether it's a movie or a series. We don't care. Hashtag Make Solo 2 happen. So this Thursday, the 23rd, whether you have a Solo to happen shirt, whether you have any other Han Solo related stuff or Solo Star Wars story stuff, send out your social media posts using the hashtag Make Solo 2 Happen. We're going to retweet every single one of them. Tag John Kazan in it. Tag Jonas Sotomo in it. Tag anyone involved with Solo. Ron Howard. Tag them all in it. Let's make everyone see it. Let's make it trend. Hashtag Make Solo 2 Happen. We'll see you guys for that on Thursday. And we're going to have a special episode on Thursday, Make Solo 2 Happen as well. So we'll see you guys then for that. Next, Age of Rebellion. Speaking of Han Solo, his one of his arch rivals, Boba Fett. Age of Rebellion, Boba Fett's one-off comic, was reviewed at Star Wars Newsnet by Yelena Beeden, and you can find her review over at StarWarsNewsNet.com. Next up will be Lando Calrissian's comic. So a lot of Solo-affiliated people in the Age of Rebellion comic series. Look for that review at StarWarsNewsNet.com. Is that a sign of anything? Last but not least, I wrote an editorial on the effect that The Rise of Skywalker had on me, the teaser had on me, which James filmed our reaction to that. You could also see a version of our reaction of the three of us, I think, right, on our YouTube channel. Is that listed?
Patreon.
Oh, on Patreon. That's right, Patreon. Okay. But go check out that because I also featured a bunch of your tweets. I had asked a bunch of people to send in tweets on how the trailer affected them. So I featured a bunch of you in there. So go check it out and see if you made the list. And you can see me cry in the video a little bit because I love cackles. And that's what happens. A tear as James wipes it away from his eye. But that is it for this week's Scoundrels Rundown. What we're going to do now is hear from you guys for sure right now in Ask the Resistance. We're going to send it over to Lacey. So I have to get my buddy Chewy here because last week I almost forgot. I'd be reminded so that he can get us out of here. Lacey?
All right, guys, it's time for Ask the Resistance. You guys have Star Wars questions. Hopefully we have some pretty good Star Wars answers.
I've been wondering, what are midichlorians?
What is that face for?
I don't know.
So the first question
Parakeet.
comes from @Blogga the Hut. What?
I said parakeet.
Oh, yeah. I get fidgety. I had coffee, so I'm all fidgety. @Blogga the Hut. And they ask, with no movie out in 2020, what do you think the main panel of Celebration will be that year? So I'm going to go first. Ladies first.
What a perfect question for Lacey.
I know. Casual.
Our Celebration expert.
So, I guess.
You just
I
did like
would
a
assume-
butthead laugh. You're like,
Anyway, so this is awkward. Yeah, no, the main stage panel will probably be television. So we're talking Mandalorian, Cassian Andor. They'll probably do a block panel, which is multiple things back to back. They don't have to give everything its own panel, and then they don't have to focus on creating all this content for one big panel. They can do like different sections. Hopefully we get a Kenobi solo panel, maybe.
ooh.
I don't know if you'll get a film panel yet because we'll be 2 years out from those movies, but you could get a future of film for Star Wars panel. Yeah, probably a lot of animation panels, I think, James. I think James is going to get his wish and get a Resistance panel on the main stage.
Ooh.
I want that short stories with Warwick Davis panel.
Well, that's, guys, he gets that because he hosts the main stage and he negotiates
Yes.
that panel. But yeah, so I hope that answers your question. I think it's going to be a lot of television stuff before they get into the films. If they have any film stuff, it's going to be later in the weekend and it's going to be more of what's coming next type stuff. Unless something changes in the next year, which I don't think it will. All right, next is Paul Buckle @Buck1E. And he asks, with the release of the Rise of Skywalker trailer and all it teased, apart from weirdly placed rocks next to Rey viewing the Death Star, what else from the trailer won't make
right there.
won't make the film, James?
Yeah, besides The Rock, that's definitely Kylo Ren going to be standing there. You know how they do. You saw how they did with the Avengers. They removed wait, no. Oh, sorry. No, they didn't do that. No,
They did it in Solo, though. They did it in Solo.
They didn't do it in Solo. All right, enough about that. I looked at these scenes, and And I picked out 3 that I have zero clue whether they would remove these scenes or not make the final cut, but I kind of had to guess. I could picture myself walking out of the theater and going, you know that body slam scene? They didn't actually show that.
Oh.
No, they wouldn't do that.
But think about like the
clothesline
scene.
You mean? The rock bottom?
It's not maybe the rock bottom. It's not a clothesline. I don't know what you think a clothesline is. But
smell what Kylo's cooking.
I think the body slam could be out of there. There's a shot with Poe and Finn, like Finn's or a pose like up like on the rock or something, and it's kind of like a slow pan or something. It seems very trailery. I feel like they could probably just cut that. And there's also like a random scene with like an A-wing too. Who knows? It's a giant. It looks like a giant fight. Probably just be like, yeah, whatever. That shot looks done. Let's throw that in there. Oh, didn't make the cut. Whatever.
I'm just picturing James be brought in by JJ, be like, this is our guy who's gonna do the trailer, and James comes in when he's like, okay, cut this scene, cut this one, don't need this one.
That one, seen it out.
Just remove it all. Have it be, black screen with just music. That's all they need.
James, your shot of Finn and Poe like above him on that rock, like looks out of like a Creed music video.
Or
like,
Roswell.
with arms wide open.
Yeah.
I got my
Britney
buddy
Spears.
Poe.
Britney Spears did the rock formation thing back in the day.
Man, she's toxic.
Linkin Park's In the End was kind of Egyptian-y rock.
You know what's funny?
Formation-y.
I don't know. I like that song. I don't know that I
Desert-y.
ever saw that music video though.
The In the End music video?
Yeah.
Oh, don't worry. I started a download on that on Kazaa, and it was done like 2 days later.
Oh my god! I thought you were gonna say it
I
was
was able
done
to
2
watch
days
it.
ago.
No. Yeah, it took like 2 days to download that video, and I was like, I remember like being up like at 6 a.m. ready for school, and I'm like, how far is it? Oh, I can get to like the first chorus.
Was YouTube around back then?
No.
Man.
So was Linkin Park in this trailer? Is that part of your answer?
Yes, actually, and they will be removed for the final cut, unfortunately.
Ah,
All right.
Dang.
Thanks,
It's
James.
like NSYNC getting cut from Attack of the Clones, man.
Yeah.
Next is Mandalorian Mark at Mark Mandalorian. And he asks, other, and this is in caps, other than Kenobi, who or what do you think the third live action Disney Plus series will be about? I'm
Kenobi.
hoping Enfys Nest post Solo. Hashtag make Solo 2 happen. John,
Woo!
what do you think?
I have a hard time with your question, Mark, because you're trying to force me away from the truth. So,
Which was your story.
right, yeah. So, I think it is going to be Kenobi, but if something happened where Ewan McGregor's like, screw this, I'm tired
Nah,
of
dog.
answering this question, I'm out. I think it's Solo. I think Solo. Because there could be other things. I'm not sure. I'm not too high on the idea of a Cassian Andor series. I'm gonna wind up loving it. That's just how I operate. But I don't know what else that they could throw together for a third series right now to fill that gap, unless it's something completely new, like The Mandalorian, or they're trying to touch on something else. It could be something completely new. But I like to think that they're gonna at least try to bring in or continue stuff that they have already created in terms of a story and a path. So while it's in my mind 95% Kenobi, I broke that story, so I'm standing by that story. If that didn't exist and we're doing a different timeline, like Biff is running the world type of thing in Back to the Future, I'll say Solo, because we're trying to, like you said, hashtag make Solo 2 happen.
You know what would be wild? Back to Lacey's question. What are they going to do as a panel? A 1313 announcement.
Oh.
For Disney Plus.
Really?
That could be wild. I don't know. Just throwing it out there.
Underworld?
Question got me thinking. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. So Boba Fett, or what are you thinking? Like
I mean, I don't
Suicide
know.
Squad for Star Wars?
I guess maybe something like that kind of. I think the 1313 stuff kind of had its own story, didn't it?
There was a video game, or they were originally going to make a show. George Lucas was pitching or putting together an idea for a show.
Yeah, it was a show, and then they were going to turn it into a video game, and then the video game got scrapped. So it's
Right.
still kind of just like out there.
Right.
You know? So I don't know. Maybe, I mean, in the hands of the right people, I don't think Disney would like start that and then like back out.
Yeah, that's interesting.
If they made the announcement. Yeah.
All right. Up next is someone from across the pond in UK who's also probably sporting a really cool TRB sweatshirt.
Ooh.
That I really need to get my... And it's not the Make Solo 2 happen one. It's OT Nix at This Is Nix.
Hi, Nix.
Hi, how's it going? And they asked, I was wondering, if the Star Wars canon timeline wasn't an issue at all, what characters from any, that's in caps, Star Wars film, show, or book, etc. She put the book in, she put the book in there for James. Would you love to see feature together an entirely new story/scenario? Love you guys. We love you too. John, we'll start with you.
Oh, come on. I don't know. James, do you have one? Do you have ones in mind by any chance? I'm thinking right now.
I'm thinking Ahsoka and Rey. Yeah. I'd love to see them together, but
Ahsoka and Rey?
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like Ahsoka's the go-to answer. This is real canon, and I know that I'm supposed to break it, but I really want that Ahsoka Luke story, like wherever they meet somewhere along the lines. I really want to see that, but I'm trying to think of something.
In Forces of Destiny, they crossed paths, right? Didn't they?
God, no.
Oh, that was Hera, maybe.
Yeah. Well, Hera and Ahsoka have met plenty of times.
No, Hera and Luke.
Oh, Hera and Han. Yeah. Anyway, it doesn't really matter. Yeah. Gosh, I mean, I don't know. I'm trying to think of. I really want to see Rey Sloane against like a lot of people. You know what I mean? I'd love to see her go up against Luke. I'd love to see her go up against Han. I'd love to see her go up against. That wouldn't make sense, but like, you know what I mean? Like Anakin or Obi-Wan. I think all that stuff could be really cool.
I'd like to see Kaz with the crew.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
With Rey and Poe and Finn.
See, we're still not breaking timeline though. I'm thinking.
Why don't we get? You know what I want? Get
I want
Christopher Sean
Celebrity
to do live
Deathmatch
action.
Villains Edition. I want to see General Grievous and Dooku and the Emperor and Darth Vader and Darth Maul, and they all just like have a battle royale.
You know what? I said any Star Wars film.
You know what I would like to see?
No, I know, but the point was to break canon, like get out of the stuff.
But I like canon.
Yeah, I know. I do too.
I want to see Qui-Gon Jinn with anybody.
You're really on that Qui-Gon train.
Qui-Gon Jinn. Yeah, Master and Apprentice is great.
Qui-Gon.
I want to see Qui-Gon with Rey. I would love to see Qui-Gon like teaching Rey still like how to be a little bit rogue and like
I want Obi-Wan with Rey.
Let's put the textbook down for a little bit. Let me teach you how to go a little rogue here. And then also I would love to see General Hux, which I guess could potentially happen now. General Hux, like dealing with the fear-stricken Palpatine. I think that'd be fantastic.
Oh, that would be great. Yeah,
because he was
like
afraid of Snoke, and Palpatine to me is way more evil than Snoke. So, I think that would be very cool to see him squirm in the shadow of Palpatine.
How about Mace Windu?
Yes.
And post Return of the Jedi Luke.
Like upset Luke? Kind of?
Not like upset Luke, but like free to be whoever he wants, and he meets Mace Windu.
That's interesting.
What about Obi-Wan and Lando?
Because he survived
They're never
that
together.
Obi-Wan and Lando. I like that. Why not? It's never happened.
Yeah, it hasn't.
Yeah.
Because he's the GOAT.
How about Leia and Jyn Erso?
This is like a just giant list of Star Wars characters.
They were in the same location at the same time.
Griswold and
Alf. Clark Griswold and Alf.
Yeah.
No, I don't know. I hope some of those were a cool idea. What do you think though, Nix? What do you think? Who would you pair together if you could?
Yeah. Anyone, put in the comments below. I want to see the craziest pairing you can come up with. A Jar Jar Binks, Sheev Palpatine buddy cop movie.
What about Jar Jar and like the Ewoks?
Oh my god, that would actually be kind of funny.
Like Jar Jar and Wicket? That'd be kind of
like
Jar Jar and Porgs.
That
or
would be
throwing
interesting.
droids.
Droids?
Like C-3PO, R2-D2 in there, BB-8, go on an adventure with Jar Jar and some Ewoks.
Well, they kind of
maybe, or
already did.
something. Gosh, it's so crazy.
Yeah.
All right. And last but not least is Len Brown at R2_Len, who's one of our patrons. And he asked, what questions do you need answered in episode 9? Dun, dun, dun. James, what questions what questions do you need answered?
I set this up beforehand. I was like, this is a tough question. I don't know that there's any questions I need answered, but then I'm just bad at figuring out what I need answered. But we kind of kicked some around. I'm going to leave those to those guys. But one that I might steal from them was, why didn't anybody come to the aid of the resistance? And the only thing that sticks out in my head is they were afraid of the First Order, but I'd like to see that somehow explained, that no one in the galaxy answered that call. And I feel like I know we're going to get it probably in the Rise of Resistance or Resistance Reborn book and stuff. So maybe we'll get all that, but I don't know. I want to know why nobody came.
Imagine
That
if
bumps me out.
the signal, although they said it was received, like somehow Palpatine had it routed to the rotting satellite dish on the Death Star, and he's just getting all the calls, and he's like, delete, 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 delete. And then he's like, all
It's
right.
been received. Wait, and they all listen, and it's like, your message has been forwarded to your call has been forwarded.
You just hear like,
Chief Palpatine.
and they're like, why are they laughing at us? Just come help us.
So I think one of the questions that we're obviously going to have answered is, how does Palpatine work into this and who's kind of behind the First Order? I'd really want to know where the money's coming from to back the Resistance, because we kind of get into it in The Last Jedi where DJ's like, oh, bad guys, good guys, they all buy weapons. How are they getting the money? Like, who's helping the Resistance if there's only like 8 people left?
Wait a minute. We already got that answer in 8.
Who's backing it? Who's backing them?
Canto Bight.
Is it?
Canto Bight is... The Resistance are buying them from those people. Those are the sellers.
Where are they getting the money?
From the rich people. They're the richest of the rich. They're making those ships, and the Resistance are... How's
the Resistance getting the money to buy the ships?
Someone's got to be backing the Resistance, because it's not just
Mon
Leia.
Mothma.
Do we know that?
Yeah. The New Republic is secretly funding the Resistance.
But the New Republic is gone.
That's why they're in a bind.
It just got blown up. Yeah. Yeah, we have to forget how close
I think one
it
of the
was.
books says that she's going to give a call to the Mon Cala and say, like, can you guys help us out? But who has been funding the Resistance? The New Republic. And where were they buying the weapons from? The people in Canto Bight.
Question I have that I want answered is, and it has nothing to do with who her parents are. Who dropped Rey off on Jakku? That's what I would like.
That's a good one.
Also, because we see that ship in the teaser, and people are saying, "Oh, I don't know if that's it, but I think that is it. I think it is that ship." So I think we're gonna get that answer. I think it might be Leia. I know people are thinking I'm crazy. I think it might be Leia. And then, who was someone really speaking to Kylo Ren through the mask, or was he just kind of like meditating and like thinking to himself? Was it a dark force of Vader still in there somewhere, like the concept art was showing? Was it Palpatine indeed speaking to him through the mask, because his essence went through the mask when Vader threw him down the shaft? So I think those two things are what I want to have answered. I used to be interested in how Maz got the lightsaber, but then James like one day was like, who cares? I'm like, yeah, I guess I really don't care.
I want to know if...
That's a story for another time.
Yeah.
I want to know if Kylo Ren knew about Rey before he met her, and not just like people telling him about her, because there's so many hints in the novelization and then little like comments and moments in the movies that you get this sense that he knows her from somewhere, whether it be a vision. Yeah. And then in the book, he says, "It is you." So it's like one of those things you're like, wait, what?
Yeah.
And then it never gets really answered.
Yeah,
so
that's
I'm
true.
hoping that in the next movie I don't know if they gloss over it or something, but give us something that like at least he had some idea of who she was, whether through a dream or a vision or something, because they seem to be connected in a certain way.
Right.
And then you see that connection in The Last Jedi, but you don't understand how he knew in the first place.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember being really stumped on that. It is you. I was like, man, they
Right?
definitely
Wait,
they
what?
definitely opened something up. I came up with my own justification of why that's not what he's getting at. Like he didn't know her before. I personally think that what he's doing is he's saying the Force was awakened by somebody. It had to be somebody. It's definitely not that girl. And then when he sees her use the power, he's like, all right, it is you. Like it is that person.
But then she hears like...
I'm with you. They could
and then
do it
right. And then
however
in
they want.
the book, I know I keep going back to the book, but I feel like it's important because they wouldn't put these details in there if they weren't. In the book, she hears a similar voice telling her that they're going to come back. So that kind of plays into John's thing of like who left her on the planet. And there's a lot of questions that were set up in The Force Awakens that were not answered in The Last Jedi.
Yeah. I think
You know
we
what's
are getting
funny?
that answer though.
A big one is the parentage thing, and I've argued they answered it in Force Awakens, and people didn't like that answer, and they said, okay, but maybe that's not really the case. So they came into Last Jedi and they were like, here it is.
Right.
Definitely,
Or like, why
this
did
is the
Kenobi
case.
talk to
And
her?
people are still sitting on it. So what I would like for them to do is in some way 100% definitively answer that question. And I think people will be more satisfied with whatever they do this time because it's the last
They just
one.
start episode 9 with Maury Povich. And you're just like,
Yeah.
You are
But I think it could be cool to if the answer to get closure on that is not once again saying, look, we told you 16 times you're from nobody, right?
yeah.
But maybe it is to say, okay, we hid you. You really are this person's daughter.
Yeah. As long as she's
And
not
then
a
maybe
clone.
we're all like, thank God we finally got that answered.
If she's a clone,
know?
I'm going to be pissed. I'll be honest with you. But we can discuss that.
I don't
later.
mind the clone thing.
Oh,
I really
And
don't.
God,
you know what the biggest
disgusting.
question for
I
me
know,
is?
you hate it, but like it wouldn't bother me.
Wait, we totally glossed over the biggest question. Where have the Knights of Ren been? That is my biggest question. I want answered.
You know, wherever everybody goes when we don't know where they went, the unknown regions, that's where they went.
I'm saying like
Yeah.
we see them in the trailer, we see them in the vision, they get mentioned in The Force Awakens, and then we never hear from them again.
I think that's why the unknown region exists, so that storytellers can be like,
it's like a black hole.
that's
of
where they
writing.
went. Of course, that's where they went.
Right now,
Yeah.
Snoke is building an army in the trash can.
Yeah.
I mean, unknown regions.
Hey, how come this character didn't show up during the Galactic Civil War? They were in the unknown regions. What are you, crazy? Of course.
Yeah. What happened to Captain Phasma after she fell into the fire? She's in the unknown regions.
It's like when you forget to send an email and you tell the person, "Oh my god, it was in my drafts folder." It
Yeah.
wasn't in the drafts folder. You just forgot to send the email.
The unknown regions is Star Wars drafts folder.
Drafts folder.
Where's Ezra and Thrawn? What do you mean, where's Ezra and Thrawn? They're in the unknown regions, you fool! What do you think they are?
And
What
then
are
they're
you,
like,
nuts?
How many
around,
times
they're
we gotta
like,
answer this question?
Where is Ezra?
Yeah. But,
Anyway,
yeah.
guys.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for your questions. If you want to be on the show, make sure to follow us on Twitter at RBATSWNN and tweet to us using hashtag AskTheResistance. Send us your Star Wars questions and you could be on the show. I did pretty well with names this week, so
Bingo bango.
hopefully that will
did.
continue. Back to you, John.
Yeah, it's tough saying names like Mark and Paul.
Yeah. Mark Mandalorian?
Never heard of it. He must
All
be
right,
from the
guys,
unknown
you
regions.
couldn't even get my name right for 2 episodes, so really, go ahead and criticize me saying other people's names.
Madone. Madone. Hey, guys, thanks so much for watching, for listening, being a part of the Resistance. We hope you had a good time today with us. I know I had a good time. This was a good, fun time. First, before I get into the other stuff, I just want to do a big shout out and thanks to our Patreon generals. I have to go down the list here again. Carmelo, aka a Grey Jedi. And I don't know if you guys know this, but Lacey and I hung out with Carmelo on Friday night.
We did.
We
got pizza.
we got pizza and cervezas. And
Checking my text real quick.
and we Skyped James
didn't get
in.
that one.
We Skyped James in for a little bit. Also, but in addition to Carmelo, obviously we have Brian Shalito, Don Boring, Aaron Quinton, Andrew Staley, who you guys are going to see on our Patreon pod race on Thursday during hashtag Make Solo 2 Happen Day. And of course, the leader of StarWarsNewsNet.com, Mr. Val Trichkoff.
The youngest Star Wars fan.
The youngest website owner in the history of the world.
It's going to be 15 this week.
Right. So thank you to all of our generals. And thank you to everybody who's joined our Patreon page. Again, another week down, more patrons joining what we got going on over at patreon.com/resistance broadcast. We have a new video we're going to be putting out for you guys soon, kind of showing you what we've been doing if you haven't checked us out over there yet. But if you haven't, go hop over to the site. Lacey runs the page for us. We got new posts going up there every day. You can get involved in influencing what we do on the show, what we talk about on the show, how we handle throwing pies at each other's faces. I do a rumor review. Lacey does unboxing. James does a This Day in Star Wars, which is a daily video he's starting to do now, going through the history of Star Wars on that particular date. A lot of great stuff. We really are passionate about it because we want to be the most proactive and active and content-loaded Patreon page out there. We take a lot of pride in that, and we hope you guys at least check it out. You can start at $2 a month to get page access. And again, you are supporting us and helping us do what we do here, so we really appreciate that. Also, make sure you guys are subscribed to us because our podcast, aside from the Patreon stuff, we're always here for you guys free 2 times a week. The podcast, that does not change. Mondays and Thursdays, you're looking at iTunes, SoundCloud, Spotify, and YouTube. You can subscribe to all of those for free. If any of those have a rating system, they obviously do. Give us a 5-star rating, give us a thumbs up, share the videos, and most of all, share our podcast with people, because a lot of people, not only do they not know if podcasts exist, they don't know Star Wars podcasts exist. So tell a friend who likes Star Wars about our show. Not only will they get their information and stay up to date on Star Wars, but as you saw today, they're going to have a good time. And that's what Star Wars is supposed to be, a good time. So spread the word, because we only grow because of you guys. So thank you so much. And of course, as Lacey said before, hit us up on Twitter at RBATSWNN. And as always, very important, because news is so hot with Star Wars right now, make sure every day you're going over to StarWarsNewsNet.com for all of your latest Star Wars news, reviews, editorials, information, and more, including your occasional scoop, like maybe we're getting that Kenobi series. I don't know. We'll see. But other than that, you guys can find me on Twitter at Johnny Hoey and writing and editing over at StarWarsNewsNet.com. And what about this guy, James Baney? Where you at, man?
At Meyer Trunks on Twitter and Instagram, as always. Thinking about getting a 1-week free trial of HBO to try to binge watch all of Game of Thrones.
Oh,
no, just kidding.
Oh,
It'd be impossible.
Really? Damn. All right, that's fine.
John got so excited for a second. Lacey, are you going to do that?
No, I'm not. You can find me on Twitter at Lacey Gillerian, where I talk about Star Wars and how Ben Solo is going to survive Episode 9 and be happy in the end.
All right, that's pretty cool.
Yub nub.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Oh, guys, Thursday. Make Solo 2 happen. Make Solo 2 happen day. So get ready. Enjoy your weeks for the next few days and get ready for Thursday to type up that hashtag, copy it, and save it for a paste. So every time you tweet, you paste that hashtag in there. Tag everybody you know in it. Let's go for it. Big time. Hashtag Make Solo 2 happen. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, wherever you are, fire off that hashtag and let's get that thing going. Let's get Bob Iger's eyes on that thing to the point where he's like, all right, okay, I'll make it happen. I'll make Solo 2 happen. Just leave me alone. That's our goal. But guys, thanks so much.
He's too busy taking pictures in Galaxy's Edge.
He's too busy having J.J. Abrams take photos of him. That was so funny.
He's like, hey, get me with Spielberg's shoes. yeah, you got it?
Just that pose he does is like...
Yeah, it's like the I have a lot of money pose. But guys, thanks so much. Enjoy your weeks. And as always, we'll see you again on Thursday morning right here on the Resistance broadcast. And we'll see you around, kids.
Bye.